Hey guys, it's Mrs. Bishop for Where is Bishop? Thank you for joining me. So before we begin, let's take out our notebooks and a pen or pencil. Our topic for this video is Parliament limits the English monarchy. And our objective is, I will be able to identify how absolute monarch's power was weakened. Please take a minute, pause the video, and write these down. Now that you've written down our objective and title for this video, we're going to write down a guiding question. First is how to limit an absolute monarch's power. So as you watch, instead of writing down everything in the video, as some of you have been writing a couple pages, sorry about that, this will enable you to focus what you're looking for. So I recommend writing how to limit an absolute monarch's power, leave space, and you can either watch the video and then complete the question, or you can complete and pause the video as we go answering how to limit an absolute monarch's power. Please make sure you answer this question because we will be using these notes to complete an activity in class. As you watch, be cognizant or mindful of these words: Magna Carta, Parliament, Petition of Rights, Treason, Constitution, and Constitutional Monarchy. By the end of the video, you should be exposed and have a better understanding to these words. So to get started with our video on how monarchs are limited, we're going to look at historical examples of Parliament limiting the English monarchy. So first we have a document here, originally written in Latin, that is signed in 1215, and this is the Magna Carta. King John is going to be forced to sign this. You may recall this from when we studied the Middle Ages. And as a result of this, Parliament is going to be set up, which, as you can see here, is a group of people set up to check the king. And the main reason they're going to be able to do this is they have control of the money. It's hard for a king to say, let's go to war, or to build me a magnificent palace if they don't have any money to pay for it. Another example of absolute monarchs' power being limited in England occurred in the 1600s with Queen Elizabeth I and King James. They wanted to spend money to continue wars, so what Parliament did was actually have the king or absolute monarch sign the Petition of Rights, another important document. And in this document, the king's power is going to be limited. Here are some examples of these. First, the king could not imprison subjects without cause, so you cannot say off with his head, you're going away to prison or the guillotine. You have to have a trial in order for that to happen. Next, you cannot put taxes on the country without Parliament's permission. So again, if you want to raise taxes for a war or to build a magnificent palace, it has to be approved, like we do today with Congress in our country. The king would not house soldiers in private homes, so someone couldn't come knock on your door and say someone in the Navy is going to be staying here for a month. Lastly, the king would not impose martial law in peacetime, meaning that the king couldn't just randomly go in and do whatever he wants in a town or city during time when there was no war. The last one was a compromise Parliament made. This Petition of Rights brought about new ideas and drastically changes the way absolute monarchs run in Europe. That is, law is above the king, so no more kings being able to do what they want. Absolute monarchs have to check in with the people. They still get to stay in power in England, not like beheaded like King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, but the king is beholden to law and rules just as everybody else. This is supposed to weaken the absolute monarch's power. With the Petition of Rights, some people are not happy with this, not just kings and queens, but everyday people. Parliament is going to pass this law to limit the king's power. People are going to demonstrate at the palace either for or against this. With this, we have two sides that are going to come about. First, we have the royalists. They are loyal to the king, so people who may not be royal family but still feel that tradition is the king can do whatever he wants and is going to run the country, and that's what's best for the country. The other side are the Roundheads, and they are loyal to Parliament, or the group of people limiting the king's power by having the money. So these are going to be the two sides in the English Civil War. The gentleman who is going to spearhead for the Roundheads is Oliver Cromwell, and here you see his picture. He is an everyday person, a nobleman, not a king or queen. And the Roundheads win. He's actually going to be victorious. And they're going to imprison King Charles for treason, which is crimes against his country, meaning he signed the Petition of Rights and he broke that document and contract with the people, so he is going to go to jail. The Constitution is a document listing specifically the laws for everyone in the land. So this is Oliver Cromwell's way of saying the king is giving us a formal document that he will follow. And our founding fathers make a constitution or list of laws for everyone to follow when we are set up and defeat King George in the American Revolution. This constitution will be our first constitution in modern day history. Some more examples of limiting the monarch's power. William and Mary in England became partners with Parliament. So instead of fighting or going against them or just disregarding them, they're actually going to try to team up with the Parliament. They come up with something called a constitutional monarchy. This is the same idea with the Constitution, but it's going to just specifically limit the ruler or the king or queen's power. So they still hold power and can decide certain things without anybody else, but they are limited in their exactly what they can and cannot do. They also are going to sign the Bill of Rights, putting down some of these specific laws, so they don't just randomly from day to day change what they decide they want to do. This is great. Obviously, for American history, we are going to use this same idea when we add to our Constitution with the Bill of Rights. Now that we have finished our historical background on how kings and queens were limited and given you some historical examples, refer back to your guiding questions. First, how to limit an absolute monarch's power. So from the video, what are a couple ways that the monarch's power was limited? How were they weakened and not able to just do what they want? Please pause the video and take a minute to jot these down, or if you did this as you were watching, then go on to the next part. Now take a look back at your important words. Pick 3 of the hardest words to remember and write them down and go back into the video and define them, or you can use your device. Please bring them to class and we will discuss if necessary. And for our where is Bishop? This obviously is McDonald's in Meriden, not too tricky there, but what I'd like you to do for this where is Bishop is give me one of the 2 businesses either on the left or right or next to McDonald's, depending how you look at it. So if you're at McDonald's, what business is either to the right of it or to the left of it? Give me one. Not across the street, either left or right. Thanks. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.